All right, good morning, government students. Long time no speak to. Sorry I look a little scruffy. Any of the rest of you look a little scruffy from this craziness? All right, so we're going to continue on our lesson on, let me make sure this thing's recording. Yep. We're going to continue on our lesson on the Constitution. This lesson is a bit of magic, I think. The Constitution, remember these guys were Enlightenment philosophers. They thought that you could approach government scientifically, that you could come up with a perfect process that would work kind of like a clock, like a fine watch, and that process would result in good government. So, in the heart and soul of that process, as between the three branches, what are they? Congress, the President, and the Supreme Court, that there would be this intricate dance of power between them. And we call that checks and balances. In regular class, I would ask, has anybody played chess? What does it mean to put the king in check? If you put the king in check, he can't do anything. The other side can't do anything except protect the king. So if they had some plan for going forward with their game, all of a sudden they have to stop that plan and protect the king. Balance. Then I talk about, I have a student come up and I pretend that we're at there's a seesaw at a park. And our object is to balance the seesaw. And then I have the student who's not old and fat like me get up on one side of the seesaw, I get up on the other. Of course it goes ka-kunk because I'm heavier. The point is, we can balance it, right? But both of us have to cooperate. We have to work together. If both of us each independently start moving to start balancing it, we'll never get it right. We have to come up with a plan between the two of us for one person to stay still and the other person to move, and then we have success. So, checks and balances. I have sent you this document. Make a copy of it. Fill out this chart. And it will email it, and when you share it with me up at the top right corner, it will email me a copy back. All right, so here is a graphical presentation of checks and balances. You can see the three branches: Congress, the President, the courts, and you can see that every branch checks the other branch. Congress checks the President checks Congress. Congress checks the courts can check Congress. And the President checks the courts, and the courts can check the President. This is this masterful design called checks and balances. Okay, so I want you to fill out this chart. How do you fill out this chart? All right, here are your instructions. First of all, please do not answer using legislative, executive, judicial. We're studying the federal system, use the federal terms. So your answer options are the President, Congress. For some of these, it's going to be one chamber of Congress. Either the House, you can just write House. You don't have to write House of Reps. Either the House or the Senate. And then if it is the judicial branch, the courts. Now, Congress does nothing without a vote. That is at least a simple majority. If Congress votes and it's less than a simple majority, then they just don't do anything. So Congress will always vote. And in the Constitution, there are only two different ways the Congress votes. Either by a simple majority, which I call 50 plus. In the Senate, that's easy, that's 51. In the House, if everybody's there, it's 218. which is half of 435 plus 1. So Congress will either vote by a simple majority of 2/3. Here is the trick. If the Constitution is silent on the voting percentage, it is simple majority. It will only be 2/3 when the Constitution specifically says 2/3. You guys got it? If you missed that, rewind that, all right? The president is a single person, human being. The president never votes, all right? And the Supreme Court, when it votes by a simple majority. If all 9 members are there and voting, the side that wins has to at least get 5 votes compared to 4. All right, so these are the answer options. President, Congress, House, Senate, courts for voting 50 plus or 2/3, or not applicable. If it is the president, right, not applicable because the president is not voting. Okay, now, you don't have to read the whole Constitution. You have to focus in on the clauses that I have listed on this sheet. And here are the clauses, all right? The first number is the article. Article 1 has to do with Congress. The second number is the section. And if there are multiple paragraphs in the section, the third number is the paragraph. Now, for example, in Article 2, Section 3, there is only one paragraph. So, on my chart, I want you to cite the Constitution in this way. The article is by a Roman numeral. There's a comma. The second number is the section. There's a comma. The third number, if there are multiple paragraphs, is the paragraph. Okay, here's the other trick on my chart. You will only use these clauses that I have listed. The chart only will use these clauses. Now, if I have a parentheses behind the clause number, like Article 1, Section 7, Paragraph 2, that means that it will be used on the chart twice. So Article 1, Section 7, Paragraph 2 will be used twice. 222 will be used 3 times. And 3.1 will be used twice. All right, so let me go through the first row in the chart with you, all right? Now, how would I approach these? What I would do is I would go and I would read one and see where it matches up with the chart. Once you read it, and then look at this column right here and see where it would match up, all right? Be careful when you do that. I'm going to skip that process because this happens to be the first one, and let's go to Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 11. So you should have this open, maybe in a new window, and have it split to where you can go back and forth between the Constitution and the chart. All right, so we're going to go to Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 11. Pause this until you find it, all right? Okay, here's the trick. You're at Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 11. Go back for a moment to Article 1, Section 8, Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 1, and that says, the Congress shall have the power to, all right? And you'll see the way they wrote it, in essence, that first phrase, Congress shall have the power to, will be in front of each one of these clauses, all right? So, let's read Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 11. Read it for me. Okay, so here are the columns. Which branch or part of the branch has the power? This may be the president, Congress as a whole, or the House, or the Senate, or the courts, right? Okay, so declare war. Which branch has the power? Article 11 says, Congress shall have the power to declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water. Okay, who has the power to declare war? Congress. So the answer here is Congress. What is the citation in the Constitution? The citation in the Constitution is Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 11. If a vote, what percentage needed? Do we need a vote for Congress to declare war? Congress always votes, and we only have two options. Remember the rule? If there is no percentage specified, then the percentage is simple majority. So the answer here is 50 plus. Any of you surprised by the fact that Congress does not have to declare war by a 2/3 vote in both the House and Senate? That surprised me the first time I learned it. All right, who is being checked? Who is being checked? And the answer to that is found, I want you to briefly go to Article 2, Section 2, Paragraph 1. Go to 2.2.1. Article 2, Section 2, Paragraph 1. And what does the first line say? Take a moment and read the whole thing. Pause and read the whole thing. All right, you back to me? Good. What does the first line say? The President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States and of the militia of the several states when called into the actual service of the United States. So, who is Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces? And the answer to that is the President. Can the President declare war? Can the President go to war? The answer to that is no, not without a declaration of war by Congress. So who is being checked? President. Who is being checked? The President. I know some of you history buffs might say, hey, wait a minute, we haven't declared war since World War II, and we've done a bunch of wars. Well, look, there is a controversial thing, it's a cool thing to look up, called the War Powers Resolution. It was passed after the Vietnam War, trying to limit the President's ability to put troops into combat, and it has been controversial. President Nixon vetoed it. Every president has disavowed its constitutionality, but every president has also followed it and honored it up to this history. We don't declare war anymore, but Congress will do an authorization for use of military force. President Bush had an authorization for use of military force before he went into Iraq and Afghanistan. Congress gave him permission to go and conduct those operations. All right, everybody got that? Okay, now, which branch is being checked? It may be more than one branch, all right? How are we guys doing? Are you guys ready to jump into this on your own? Or should we model one more? Should we model one more? Yeah, let's model one more. So, now let's start my process here. Let me get rid of this. Okay, so what would I do? If I were you, I would go to Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 5. Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 5. 1, 2, 5. So go there, please. Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 5. Pause for a second and read it for me. Okay, what does 125 say? It says the House of Representatives, that's one chamber in Congress, shall choose their speaker. No, that is not a typo. That's how they spelled choose back then. And other officers, and have the sole power of impeachment. All right. So, the House of Representatives shall choose their speaker and other officers, and have the sole power of impeachment. Let's go to my chart and see where that lands. All right, we've done declare, excuse me, Sammy. We've done declare war. Nope, 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 no, no. The power to impeach. Who has the power to impeach? The answer for that is what? If you write Congress, you will be wrong. House. What is the citation? Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 5. We just went through this with President Trump. The House of Representatives voted to impeach the president. By what percentage vote? Does it say the House shall have the sole power to impeach, provided 2/3 of its members concur? It does not say that. The Constitution is silent on the voting percentage, so the voting percentage is 50 plus. All right? All right. Now we're to the column, which branch is being checked? Maybe more than one. To get the answer to that, go back to your chart for a second, and you'll notice I have an asterisk by 125, 136, and I also have, let me move this up, for impeachment, see also 137 and Article 2, Section 4. The answer to that one is found in Article 2, Section 4. Article 2, Section 4. So, go to Article 2, Section 4. Not Article 2, Section 1, Paragraph 4, but Article 2, Section 4. And Article 2, Section 4 looks like this. This one here. The President, Vice President, that one. Pause for a minute and read that. All right, you back? So, this tells you who can be impeached by the House and convicted by the Senate. The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Here's the trick. When the Constitution says all civil officers, that includes not only everybody working in the executive branch, but judges and Supreme Court justices. So, that language includes judges and Supreme Court justices. So let's go back to our power to impeach. Who can be impeached? Remember, I want you to use the terminology. So the answer to here would be the president can be impeached and the courts, both. This is an example where one power can be used against two of the other branches, the power of impeachment. So where are we at? So there's the answer there. Everybody got that? Pause if you don't. Well, shall we just finish up impeachment? Let's finish up impeachment. So, by the way, when you start coming to these, if you've used it, cross it out, right? We've used this. Cross out 125. We've done 1811. Cross it out. All right? Let's stick with the impeachment ones. Let's go to 136. So let's go to Article 1, Section 3, Paragraph 6. 136. 136. By the way, you guys notice that Article 1, Section 2 is about the House. Article 1, Section 3 is about the Senate, right? All right, 136. Starts with the Senate shall have the sole power to try. Pause the video and read it. You back with me? The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. What does it mean to try? It means hold a trial. This happened earlier in the year with President Trump. President Trump was tried and found and acquitted, found not guilty by the Senate. Okay, so let's look for our chart. Which one says try impeachments? All right, here is the power to impeach. Right below it, the power to try and convict on an impeachment charge. Who has the power to try and convict, excuse me, on an impeachment charge? That is the Senate. If you write Congress, it'll be wrong. All right, this is a specialized function of each chamber. What's the citation? The citation here is Roman numeral 1, 3, 6. Let's keep reading. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be under oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court shall be the judge. If it's not the President being tried, then the President pro tem of the Senate acts as the judge. And no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. Okay, this is the Senate. It is a legislative body. Congress, or each chamber, only operates by a vote. What is the vote? The vote is 2/3. Okay, what branch is being checked? You can't have an impeachment trial in the Senate unless you have been first impeached by the House. So that answer would be the same. And that would be President and courts. While we're there, let's just finish impeachment. For impeachment, see also 137 and 24. We've looked at 24, so let's look at 137. Let's look at 137. What does 137 say? Pause for a second and read 137. All right, what happens if you get impeached by the House and convicted by the Senate? Judgment in cases of impeachment, a judgment of guilt, shall not extend further than removal from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office or honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Okay, so what happens? Kicked out of office, right? Can they throw you in jail? Can't throw you in jail. These are the only two things that happen. After you are impeached and convicted, can you be governor of Arizona? The answer is yes. Because that is not an office of trust or profit under the United States. That is a state government office. Can you be postman? Can you be a postman? The answer is no. That is an office, that is a United States job. So you can't be postman, but you could be governor. Some other interesting language, but the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment. That's the way you are charged with a federal crime. Trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. Read this language, it's interesting. If you are being impeached because you are supposedly have convicted a crime, then can they charge you with a crime before you're impeached and convicted, or can they not? Can a president even be charged with a crime while president before he is impeached? Some people say no. They talked about this with President Trump. There was some evidence that he possibly could have, some of his conduct could have been perceived as criminal. The Department of Justice refused to prosecute him, arguing that this language said he could not be prosecuted until he was impeached and removed from office by conviction. I personally disagree with that interpretation. If the president walked in with an M4 into the cabinet meeting and shot all of his cabinet members dead, I think that he could be arrested for murder before he was tried and convicted. But that's just me. Okay, the rest of these I'm going to let you do on your own. If you have a question, feel free to email me on the question. Send me this back, and I will do another video in a couple days and let you self-grade also. All right? One trick. When it comes to declare laws unconstitutional, I want you to Google judicial review in the United States, or Google power to declare laws unconstitutional in the Constitution. And I want you to answer that for me. Maybe the better thing to Google, to be honest, would be read the case, Google Marbury versus Madison and what it stood for. Wikipedia probably has a decent article on that. So for law, when you get to declare laws unconstitutional, the trick is the Constitution doesn't specifically say that. I think the whole Marbury versus Madison thing is overblown. Everybody understood that part of having a court would be when it gets a dispute about the Constitution, it has to interpret the Constitution and say whether some law passed by Congress or action by the President is constitutional or unconstitutional. But I also don't think any of the original framers thought that the Supreme Court was going to be as aggressive about it as they have been. I don't think they saw the implications of it. So, so for declare laws unconstitutional, you need to do a Google search and read up on the case of Marbury versus Madison. All right? And for extra credit, there are some checks and balances that are not on this chart. Hint, some of them are just the flip side of checks and balances that are on the chart. I'll give you extra credit if you find me another one. All right? Okay? Thank you. Love you guys. Get after it. Remember that I'm putting these in with a couple extra credit points for each one. All right? So if you do these, you will improve your grade. All right, bye.